Hey, shalom, this is Bishop Nathaniel, Vision United in Christ, or praises to the Most High. We're going to discuss pagan Christianity.
Is the Christianity today the same as the Christianity that was taught by the disciples in Christ? And the answer is no.
So, concerning the forcible conversion of all people to the white man's religion, Christianity. Now, when you read the scriptures, the original Christians were the Israelites that followed Christ. But over a period of time, it has morphed into a religion, a cult, a terrorist group, in which we as a people were terrorized and forcibly converted into what we call today modern day Christianity.
Because Christ being the Son of God is simple to understand. Christ being there from the beginning is simple to understand. Christ being a black man, the black Messiah from the tribe of Judah, who only died for his people, and his people only, is as simple as simple.
They're all black. Every last one of them, black.
We had a religion. Our religion is the Bible.
Pagan Christianity had nothing to do with peace during the 1400s, 1500s, 1600s, 1700s. It was about war, decimation, bloodshed.
The problem with Christianity, the problem with Islam, the problem with other religions is that restraint does not belong to us.
There is black presence in the Bible, but the Bible is the book of the Israelites, and it just so happens that the Israelites are black people. They'll say Paul was mistaken for an Egyptian. That's correct. They'll say Moses passed for second to Pharaoh in Egypt, which is in Africa on a black continent. That's correct. However, they're leaving one person out, Jesus the Christ.
I got my brother Rich here with me. Rich, how you doing today, man?
Like everywhere we look, when you look at the image of a black man and a black woman, it's horrible. It's horrible. The gospel is you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the children of the book. You're the real Jews. Like the sun rising in the east and setting in the west. This place is prophesied to be destroyed by thermonuclear missiles. The question is, do you want to die here with the man that took you captive?
Israelites.
Not no more.
Yeah, we on a mission.
It's the rise of the kings, the rise of the...
He said that we are the Jews, that we're God's chosen people. So why is Ye catching help for saying that? I'll tell you why. Because it's true.
All over the earth. Come back to these laws and keep the commandment. Get caught in the fire, you gon' burn. We back. I said we back.
When y'all came through, straight power. The kids, straight power. What's that? Straight power. They got their cell phones out. Straight power. And what is that? They're motivated. Right. They feel like every time y'all come on the TV, see y'all in Brunswick. At the very rally.
You know what's funny? You have black men who are not in gangs, who are not beating women, take care of their families.
I really appreciate that.
And we're reading the Bible, and we keep getting treated as if we're the ones killing our brothers in the street. Yes.
Not the white people.
The people of the slave trade, not the white people. What matters? How come you don't say that in the church?
Say what?
That color doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Why do they push this image if color does not matter?
Who taught you Christianity? Who taught you religion? You know? Who had a suspicion?
Our sisters, they get with a man They kiss, hug, sleep with him, and then they want to say, well, he's not good enough for me.
All these false religions, what did they say to your soul? Bow down! They're telling you to bow down. The white man right now has control. But guess what? The Israelites, we waking up. That's who you are according to the Bible.
Making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profits here, so boy, you better. You've been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profits here, so boy, you better. Cause the profits here now. You better. Hey, bring that out. Cause the profits here now. That's right. See hanging on the corner, see hanging on the streets, some other on the.
Ustedes son los verdaderos judíos. Así es.
Estoy revelando la revelación de Jesucristo a ustedes. Cristo dijo, conoceréis la verdad y la verdad os hará libres. Él no corrige a todos igualmente, mantiene los mandamientos.
Israel unido en Cristo, estamos aquí para enseñarte los mandamientos para que ustedes puedan obtener la salvación.
Absolute, we got a bishop on deck. See what I'm saying? Absolute, we got a bishop on deck. Absolute, we got a bishop on deck. Absolute, see my bishop on deck. All the rising feet, show respect. All these damn doors get checked. Hey, see what I'm saying? Hey, shout him out. Tuesday, shout him out. Tuesday, put in work, reach the people, see my bishop, he don't play. Shout him out. Tuesday, shout him out. Tuesday, put in work, reach the people, see my bishop, he don't play. Shout him out. Tuesday, shout him out. Tuesday, put in work, reach the people, see my bishop, he don't play. Shout him out. Tuesday, shout him out. Tuesday, put in work, reach the people, see my bishop, he don't play. Absolute, we got the bishop on deck. On deck. Absolute, we got the bishop on deck. See what I'm saying? Absolute, we got the bishop on deck.
Shalom, brothers. Shalom, sisters. Bishop Nathaniel here. You know what day it is. That's right. It is Shout Out Tuesday. It's Shout Out Tuesday. And you know how I love to read your letters of exhortation and your donations of support. But before I do that, I often love to cover a little bit of our hidden history. So what I want you to do right now, get your libations, get your diet food, get your comfort food. Get whatever you need to relax yourself and enjoy yourself in today's lesson. Let's take a look at our hidden history. And I'll be right back with today's commentary. A treatise on physical geography, comprising hydrology, geognosy, geology, meteorology, botany, zoology, and anthropology by A. Barrington. This was first published in the year 1850. 1850. I always tell you, get the old books, While we were still in slavery, let's see what these scholars have put together regarding the Israelites. All right. Thus the Jews are a people who have ever, according to the prophecy, dwelt alone, without intermixing with the nations to this day. Now this separate race all descended from brown ancestors, For Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob must have been as dark as Maryahanan, if not darker, exhibit every shade of color from the black Jews of Malabar, of whom we have such an interesting account by Claudius Buchanan, to the rose lily complexion of the Jewess on the banks of Elbe, those Amalek. Those are converts. We need go no further than the Jews of southern Spain and compare them with those of Holland and northern Germany to perceive a very striking difference. Because remember, you had original black Jews and then you had white Jews, which were converts. The Spanish Jew is always dark complexioned and his hair is uniformly black, whilst the German Jew, this convert, is often as fair as any German and has light or red hair with blue eyes. These are converts, these are Edomites. The various shades of color observable among the Negro or African race tends to the same conclusion. Along the coast of Guinea, which is low, marshy, and hot, we find jet black complexions, and this is the very country from which American Negroes have been derived. So these American Negroes, they know, are Jews. These are Israelites, descended from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Fact. Light and Truth, collected from the Bible and ancient and modern history, containing the universal history of the colored and the Indian race. This was published in 1844. 1844. All right, on page 249. Page 249. The Hebrews are called after Heber, pronounced Eber, their great father, from whom all the Hebrews descended. The Israelites are called after the great father Israel. Remember, Israel, whose name was Jacob, descended from Eber. The Jews are descendants from Judah. That's where the word Jew comes from. Jew is short for Judah. It's an abbreviation. The Jews are descendants from Judah, their great father, and are called after him in Africa and Asia. Did y'all see that? The Jews are descended from Judah, their great father, and are called after him in Africa. Showing you the real Jews are black. Page 348. The prophet Noah. Noah, the son of Lamech, was a prophet of the antediluvian world. A knowledge of the deluge, was made known to him about 120 years before the flood. He was a just man and a faithful preacher of righteousness. He warned the people of their destruction by a flood. God commanded Noah to build the ark, or great ship, and Ham, a mighty man, helped to build the ark at God's command. The posterity of Noah, who inhabited the earth after the flood, were a colored people, and their language was Hebrew. See the historical books of the ancients. This language was originally given to man by his creator, and afterwards broken into a multitude of tongues at Babel. The Hebrew, it is almost certain, was the language of Adam and Eve, and it is certain their complexion was black. Solomon, the Song of Solomon, the wise man. The words of Solomon, the son of David, to his friends. I am black but comely, graceful, O ye daughters of Jerusalem. Look not upon me because I am black as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. Here Solomon describes his color to be as beautiful as the tents of Kedar, whose tents were made of black goat's hair. Wow. Isaiah the prophet of Amos. But they obeyed not the word of the Lord by the mouth of the prophet, and were led away young and old, naked and barefoot, into captivity. Isaiah 20. As they were black, so was he. He was Isaiah. As he was naked, so were they, led naked and barefoot, young and old, into captivity. Even to this day, from Africa, their descendants are led away by a wicked people into slavery. Wow. A brief history of the Wesleyan missions on the western coast of Africa. All right. This was published in 1851. You can see it right there, 1851. Thus they are fair, referring to the Jews. Thus they are fair in Britain and Germany, brown in France and in Turkey, swarthy means black, in Portugal and in Spain, olive in Syria and in Chaldees, tawny means black or copper-colored in Arabia, in Egypt, and nearly black in Abyssinia. And yet they are all Jews of one common ancestry, nation, and language, though scattered o'er all the earth they lie. I want to look up this word. Where was swarthy at? We want to look up swarthy, and in the same definition, you're going to also see tawny, this word here. Tawny and swarthy are synonyms. And the old definition is black. Watch this. Swarthy, etymology, alteration of swarthy, from swart plus y, from Old English swart, meaning black. Let's go down to the adjectives for swarthy. Number one meaning, tawny, dusk, dark. No, tawny, dusky, dark. Number two is dark-skinned. Let's jump down to the synonyms. Look at the synonyms. Dark-skinned, black, dusky, sable, sooty. Tawny, see tawny, dusky, dark, dark-skinned. Africa being an accurate description of the regions of Egypt, Barbary, Libya, and Bildergerd, the land of Negroes, Guinea, Ethiopia, and the Abyssinia, that's Ethiopia. All right. This was published in 1670. Africa being an accurate description of the regions of Egypt, Barbary, Libya, and Bildergerd, the land of Negroes, Guinea, Ethiopia, and the Abyssinians, that's Ethiopia. Published in 1670. Let's go in. All right. I'm on page 34. That's the original page, but in this book it's on 31. All right. I'm going to start here. Many Jews also are scattered over this region, some natives boasting themselves of Abraham's seed. It's talking about Africa. See the title, Africa. Many Jews also are scattered over this region. What region? Africa. Some natives boasting themselves of Abraham's seed, inhabiting both sides the river Niger, or Niger. Others Others are Asian strangers who fled thither either from the desolation of Jerusalem by Vespasian at 70 AD, or from Judea, wasted and depopulated by the Romans, Persians, Saracens, that's Muslims, and Christians, or else such as came out of Europe, whence they were banished. So it's referring to those Jews, those black Jews that were banished, those Jews that were keeping the commandments that were banished. Not all the blacks, but the ones keeping the commandments. Out of some, they were banished where? From where? Out of some parts of Italy in the year 1342, out of Spain in the year 1462, out of the Low Countries, that's the Netherlands, in 1350, out of France in 1403, out of England in 1422. These all differ in habit and are divided into several tribes, having no dominion, though both wealthy and numerous, but despised of all nations, and so abominated by the Turks that they are not admitted to be Mohammedans unless first baptized, and then no otherwise made use of than to receive their customs and gather in their taxes. The image of the black in Western art. This is a sculpture of Saint Maurice. We went over this several times. Also remember that this is edited by David Wyman, who is I believe is a racist. Then you got Henry Louis Gates Jr., who's obviously asleep while this guy is writing. Okay, Henry Louis Gates must get paid to close his eyes to not see the evil and ignorance that this guy puts together. All right, let's go into the book. All right, I want you to take a look at this. I want to focus today on plaque or plate number 18, decorated initial, florist, expositio in Epistolas Pauli, volume 2, following 67 V, Carby Abbey, 1164 in Paris. Bibliothèque Nationale, that's the library, National Library. Year is 1164. Now, this, I'm assuming it says Exposito in Epistolas Pauli. Seems like it's Epistle of Paul, number 18. But let's go inside. Let's go to the next page, because that's how these quote-unquote scholars do things, and when they hide things from us. Watch this. All right. Here's number 18, but it starts over here. All right. Given the present state of our knowledge, it is very hard to find a place in this study for a series of decorated initials. Decorated initials. We're going to focus here, decorated initials, dating from the 12th century, that's 1164, I just showed you, in which the figures of partially or totally nude men with more or less clearly marked black characteristics form the stem of the capital letter P. So there's a black man who's going to be in a design of the capital letter P. Okay. These initials appear in a group of manuscripts executed in northern France, and they include one common trait. They are all connected with St. Paul's epistles. So let's take a look at this letter of St. Paul in the year 1164. Bam. So here's the P. I want y'all to see. Here's the circle, and here's the stem. Let me pull back. Let me pull back so y'all can see it. This is a P. Zoop. P. A. U-L-U-S. Paulus. Paul. Why does Paul's letter have a black man with a sword going through the head of a demon Caucasian? Remember in Hebrews 4 says the word of God is quicker than a two-edged sword. So Paul has himself in this design a black man with a sword. Here's the legs, here's the feet. I want y'all to see this and look at it good. So Paul's letters shows him as a black man, like in Acts 21:26, where they thought Paul was an Egyptian. He said, no, verily I'm a man of Tarsus, a Jew. Now let's go back to the writings again. Okay, now I'm going to the next section, number 22. One of the most negroid in appearance, if only because of the hair done in tight curls, is in Corby manuscript. More exotic is the figure wearing an odd-looking short garment seen in a manuscript of the New Testament, now in Berg-en-Bresse. Unfortunately, its province is not known. The reason for the appearance of this type in northern France is still not clear to us. They never want to admit the Jews are black and we lived in France. This guy, David Bym, is a demon. So here's the other letter. Is a P, a negroid man, but this is more blue in complexion, blue in color, with this little outfit on. But he's a black man. And there's a serpent he's fighting. The serpent got his mouth on his head. All right, remember what this is number 22. Decorated initial introducing St. Paul's epistle to the Colossians. You see that? Decorated initial introducing St. Let me zoom in a little closer. Decorated initial introducing St. Paul's epistle to the Colossians. New Testament. Y'all see that? And Saltafar following 91V, second half of the 12th century. That's around 1164. So here's another one, St. Paul. This is more blue in complexion, but he's fighting a serpent, a snake. Now you notice here, they tell you straight, St. Paul's epistle, right, to the Colossians. Notice what did you forget the other one? When we went to this one, plate number 18, it's not in English too much. Decorated initial, florist, expositio in epistolas Pauli. So if you didn't have a clue to know that this is epistle Paul, but they don't want to make it too plain. Why? Because here is clear that Paul is described or shown as a black man with a sword. Do y'all see that? Do you Christians see that? All right, brothers, all right, sisters, you saw it for yourself, you saw it for yourself. Now, I done told y'all before, we're going to ride this train till the wheels fall off. This controversy of Zion, this great awakening that's happening, our brother Kyrie Irving's being attacked, our brother Ye's being attacked. Why? For realizing they're Israelites. They don't care if you call yourselves Muslims. You could call yourself a Muslim till you blue in the face. Don't nobody give a damn. There's no power in that. You could call yourself a part of the Kemetic community. Don't nobody give a damn. There ain't no power in that. Go on, Mr. Kemet, go on there. Uhuru. You could call yourself unapologetically African. Don't nobody give a damn about that either. There's no power in that. Hell, you could call yourself a born-again Christian. Don't nobody give a damn about that either. Ain't no power in that. Why? Because when you read the biblical text, when you read the holy scriptures, God is only dealing with one race of people, the 12 tribes of Israel. And that's who we are. That's who we be. And that's what the Bible declares we are. And that's where the great controversy is. And brothers, sisters, listen good. You cannot stop this great awakening. So rise up, you mighty race. Like Marcus Garvey said, rise up, you mighty race. The controversy of Zion is at the door. We in the midst of it. And like I said before, we gonna ride it till these wheels fall off. Oh, we was at the Barclays Center. We stood strong for our brother Kyrie. He knows there's an army behind him. There, see, the Lord got angels everywhere. Angels in the spirit realm, and guess what? Angels in this physical world. Y'all don't want to hear about that. Hey, let's look at some of the brothers here at the Barclays Center. Take a look. Deacon Ithon and the rest of the brothers.
They've been lying for so long and living this lie of being Jews. They talking about, hey, Kyrie, you got to come and speak to the Jewish Brooklyn leaders. Where are they? Come speak to us.
The truth of this Bible was given unto you, Israelites.
You got a problem with us being Israelites? Come talk to us. We're going to bring you this Bible, thus saith the Lord.
This gospel is spreading. You cannot contain the truth of the Bible.
There's many things that's evil going on in the land of Israel, but there's no media coverage for that. But when black people do crime in the hood, it's all on the news. It's all on the news. Who control the news? The Jewish media, like Kanye West said.
Now let's see what color they are. They are black. What color are the Jews? They are black. If you're black, you are Shemitic. So Kyrie Irving was correct.
Of 6 things. Hey, guess what, Kyrie? You gotta come over here and make my little kid lunch. Hey, Kyrie, guess what? Can we ride you like a horse? Then you can get your job back. No, we're not doing that. Y'all gonna understand, y'all gonna learn that we the Israelites, we're not bending or breaking for nobody.
Now, there's been a lot going on in the news with our brother Ye and our brother Kyrie Irving. A whole lot going on. And let me tell y'all something. Now, we know the Lord can use anybody, okay? Even if these brothers, because a lot of y'all saying these brothers ain't repented, they ain't changed their life, okay, yada, yada, yada. What's important now is that the seed that we're the Israelites has been planted. That's all that's important. I want y'all to think. We had, bear with me a second, we had brother Kyrie Irving, brother Ye waking up. This is recent I'm talking about. But previous to them waking up, or allegedly waking up, I'll word it like that, we had that British rapper called Wiley who woke up. He got shut down by the Jewish media, and black folks came against him. Deshaun Jackson, who plays for the Eagles, he got shut down by the Jewish media and black folks in the media. Nick Cannon, he started waking up. He got shut down by the Jewish media and black folks that came against him. Ice Cube the same way. Kendrick Lamar was behind the scenes, so we really don't know what happened with that. But we know he don't talk about Israel no more. Now you got brother Ye and you got brother Kyrie Irving. And what is the Jewish media and the black media doing? Whipping him like a dog. Whipping them like dogs. And I'm talking about you too, Whoopi Goldberg. You got people like Whoopi Goldberg come speaking against Ye. You got Shaquille O'Neal and his hypocritical self. He played the whole damn movie called Hebrews the Negroes in his theater in Newark, New Jersey at Cityplex 12 movie theater. Oh, big, fat, black hypocrite. Excuse my language. Just pissed me off. Gonna get on somebody. Cause Kyrie Irving sent a tweet. You gotta be kidding me, or a post. Then you got old Shannon Sharp. Yeah, name should be Shark. With that nose breathing all the white man's air. What you say, Skip? Yeah, Skip, I'm with you, Skip. Whoop them, whoop them. Can't make this stuff up. Then you pull this dude out the crypts, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You're going to pull him out the crypts, okay? Then you got that other little weasel, Charlemagne the God, coming against people, running his damn little mouth. Shut the hell up, okay? Then you got Amar'E Stoudemire. Oh, Amar'E Stoudemire. Oh, brother, you know you're an Israelite. So I really hit the roof with this, brother. They used you as a whip against Kyrie Irving. And I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, no, this brother didn't say that. This brother didn't say that. He got to do more vetting, do more studying. What are you talking about, bruh? Do more vetting. The brother didn't do nothing wrong. He posted Hebrews to Negroes. That was it. He didn't say whether he was for it or against it. That's all he did. But you came against him like he don't study, he don't do nothing. I'm like, what the hell is Amar'e Stoudemire? They use you as a pawn, brother. You're used as a pawn. Okay, so now let's take a look at these clips that I'm up to put up, and I'm gonna come back with my scriptural references, all right?
The city of Jerusalem. There's just so much ancient history here that seems to amaze me every time I step outside.
Jerusalem, in Hebrew, city of peace, one of the holiest places on earth, a city sacred to billions, where tradition holds that Solomon built the first great temple of the Jewish people, where the crucifixion and resurrection of Christ took place, and where Muhammad ascended to heaven. But through thousands of years of history, Jerusalem has never before seen the likes of Amar'E Stoudemire.
Thank you. Toda.
Welcome to Israel.
Thank you.
You get mobbed everywhere you go?
Doesn't stop, man.
It's true. Everywhere we went, the old,
Just like with that camera.
the young, and even the cabbies.
Who's your favorite player?
Stoudemire.
Stoudemire. He just got here.
Yeah. He's the best thing in the world for us.
Everyone, it seems, is mesmerized by Amar'E. What has been the reception from the Israeli public?
First, astonishment. How can it be? Then realization. Really? Is it happening? Then he arrived to the airport. He's here. When he's going to play tonight, it's going to be like, wow, all our dream comes true.
It's that big a deal.
It's that big a deal.
This was the reaction at Stoudemire's first public appearance as a member of Hapoel Jerusalem, the Israeli Premier League team with which he recently signed a 2-year contract. And now, after just a few games, Stoudemire's already a folk hero. At 33 and in good health, the 6-time All-Star could have kept playing in the NBA, or just about anywhere, in any league in the world. So why Jerusalem? Because, Stoudemire says, this is the land of his forefathers.
My mother instilled in me that we are from the ancient tribes of Israel, and through the diaspora, we happened to land and were taken to America.
Do you consider yourself Jewish?
I consider myself a Jew. I consider myself a Hebrew Israelite.
Stoudemire says he also considers himself Christian, the other faith in which he grew up. But he and his wife Alexis and their 4 children observe the Jewish Sabbath and Jewish holidays. In accordance with kosher dietary laws, they don't eat pork or shellfish.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this food we're about to receive on your Shabbat.
At their Shabbat dinners every Friday night, Stoudemire quizzes his children about the Old and New Testaments.
Jacob wrestled with God, and God changed Jacob's name to what? Amar'E?
Israel.
Israel. What's Jesus' name in Hebrew? Amar'E? Yahshua.
But the quiz isn't all about religion.
Besides me, who's the greatest player of all time? Elijah? Michael Jordan! That's right.
This journey here to Jerusalem has been more than just, moving here, moving abroad and living abroad and bringing a whole family here. It's more just of a spiritual peace.
How much did you grow up in this tradition?
My mother first spoke to me about this when I was a teenager. And from that point on, I always taught my friends, and I had them open the Bible up and let's read, let's study, let's learn together.
Stoudemire is still studying. For example, working on his Hebrew, which isn't too shabby.
I know how to say hello, like Shalom and Ishma. Outstanding is like Yofi. I know how to count. Akkad, Stein, Shalosh, Abba, Hamesh. I want to be able to communicate with the people as well and feel as much, connected with them as possible.
Stoudemire wears a medallion inscribed with a prayer from the Torah.
The Shema, Deuteronomy 6, verses 4. In Hebrew it says, Shema Ya Israel, Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. So it means basically that the Lord is one.
That's a pretty basic prayer.
That's a pretty basic prayer. It's on every doorstep when you walk into your home. It's just letting you know that there's only one God.
Before moving to Jerusalem this summer, Stoudemire had visited on several occasions. Now he's embracing life in this ancient land at all levels. From the shuk, or market, to the Israel Museum.
There are a lot of people who say, I don't know, I wouldn't want to go to Israel, Jerusalem. It's a dangerous place. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's a lot safer here, I think. There's been more chaos in America I've been reading about than it is here in Jerusalem, so my family and I feel very safe.
Already, Stoudemire is working to achieve peace in the Holy Land.
So I put this peace camp together. I invited all cultures, whether Jewish, Israelis, Israelites, the Palestinians, the Muslims, and we all play basketball and we have fun and we build friendships that last forever.
As he always does, Stoudemire fasts on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, Judaism's holiest day. It's yet another way in which he demonstrates his connection to this place.
When you walk the streets of Jerusalem, what are you feeling?
I feel like I'm at home. I feel a state of peace. I feel a state of clarity. It feels great.
This is Amar'E Stoudemire, world famous ball player, used as a whipping stick against his brother, Kyrie Irving, for trying to find himself during this great awakening. And that's the only problem I got with fellow Israelites. When you speak out against one another, be very careful of that. They will use you as a taskmaster.
The Nets handling of Kyrie. Amar'E Stoudemire, six-time All-Star, joining the conversation. Amar'E, you bring a very unique perspective. Obviously, we all know the success you had with Nash on the court, and then you were an assistant on the Nets, and also you're a black man who is Jewish. What was your reaction to Kyrie?
My initial reaction was, what I've noticed throughout the years of Kyrie is that he's a guy who's really trying to find his identity, right? He's on this quest of searching for information and knowledge, and while acquiring this type of information, he got to be more mindful of doing more research, checking your sources, reviewing before you actually, promote anything.
It.
Right, exactly. And I think that's something that Kyrie's probably lacking right now, is that he's not really doing the full vetting of what he's promoting, and I think that's getting him into trouble.
Absolutely.
Come on, Amar'E. Kyrie Irving didn't make a statement about Hebrews to Negroes or nothing. He didn't post thoughts pro or con about it. How you gonna speak like that, bro? Come on. It's better not to say nothing. Have no comment. You got enough money. You can say, I have no comment on it. Don't even show up. But listen, this is what I want to say. You're in Israel and they view you as an Olympic god. Or, now that's the nice way to say it. I could say it. They view you as a high-paid monkey. That's how I could say it. And I'm going to show you the racism in Israel where you live. I've been to Israel. I saw the racism. Left side of me, right side of me, in front of me. And you have spoken nothing on it, brother Amar'E. It's like you are blind, you are deaf to the evils that's going on in Israel. And I'm going to show the viewers a few clips. I'm showing you viewers, I want y'all to listen and watch the racism. And when we brought it out on our documentary, we caught a lot of flack from it, a lot of flack. I'm going to show you something. Amar'E won't speak on it. Now, he's my brother, but he won't speak on the evils that the white Israelis, these white Jewish people, these Edomites, do against our people. Take a look, take a listen.
It's time for our weekly segment, The Social Contract, where we discuss in depth one of the core issues that divide Israeli society with one of our I-24 News correspondents and a special panel of guests to break down the story. This week, we're looking at racism in Israel, triggered by the reports that a major winery banned workers of Ethiopian descent because their Jewishness could not be fully proved. Joining me in studio is social activist Elias Imbram and former senior aide to former Israel's chief rabbi Lau, Rabbi Dov Halbertal. Thank you very much for coming on the show. It's good to see you. Also here to guide us through this very complex topic is I-24 News anchor and investigative correspondent Elon Levy. Very good to see you, Elon.
Good to be here as always.
Elon, let's check out your report before we start.
When is kosher wine not kosher? When it's touched by an Ethiopian Jew. That's what hardline rabbis told the Barkan winery in Israel. No kosher certificate for you if Ethiopian workers touch the wine. The winery pulled its Ethiopian staff off the production line. Cue public outrage, calls for a boycott, and the company U-turned. Beta Israel is Ethiopia's ancient Jewish community, the House of Israel. They claim descent from the tribe of Dan, largely cut off from the rest of the Jewish world since ancient times. In the 1980s and 90s, Israel arranged a massive rescue mission, airlifting them to safety in Zion. Sephardic Chief Rabbi Ovadia Yosef ruled they were Jewish, and Israel's gates were opened. But one bastion of dissent, the extremist Eda Haredit, behind so many violent clashes with police over the military draft for ultra-Orthodox men, still doubting the Ethiopians' Jewishness. And for wine to be kosher, only Sabbath-observant Jews may touch it. A super-strict kosher stamp Barkan wanted from Eda Haredit to expand into the ultra-Orthodox market, and Eda Haredit refused unless the Ethiopians were kept away. Barkan agreed, discriminating against its workers to boost sales, a move that has now backfired, forced to backtrack under pressure, and having its new kosher stamps pulled, leaving its reputation more seriously stained than a tablecloth drenched in wine. Elon Levy, I-24 News.
Elon, this story sparked a huge debate in Israel. Why?
Look, this wasn't about the Eda Haredit and their decision to block Ethiopians from touching the wine. I don't think the mainstream Israeli public expects better behavior from Eda Haredit. It's known as being one of the most extreme Haredi factions, as I said in the report, behind many of the violent protests with police. They weren't surprised by that. That wasn't the business. That's what they expected. The question was this. It was the fact that the winery was willing, for commercial reasons, to give in to that pressure from the ultra-Orthodox kosher certifiers and pulled their staff off the line. Instead of putting their foot down and saying, we're all equal, a Jew is a Jew, you know what, if it comes at the cost of discriminating, we don't want your certificate. It was all about the money, basically. It was all about the money, and that was the question. It was the fact that they chose money over solidarity between Jews.
Elias, what are your thoughts about this story? Do you find it, was it humiliating?
Following to my friend is saying that 40% of the customers of Barkan Winery are from the mainstream, and only 20% are from the Haredi community.
It's still a large chunk.
This company must make a decision if they want to follow racist Bagatz or to follow a moral, normal Jewish.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, because the kashrut of Badatz for us it represents the story of the Ethiopian Jews. It means that if they don't allow them to work in Barkan, it means that there are not enough Jewish.
Right.
Okay. This represents the history of the Ethiopian Jews, because for 70 years we were struggling to come back to our homeland, to Israel, and in Israel and in Europe.
So when you heard the news,
there were discussion whether we are Jews or not. Okay, we struggled. We got to Israel in 1993 in Moses operation, and later on in Solomon operation, and now the Haredi group continuing to deliver us that we are not Jewish enough. And as a matter of fact, because of them, we didn't come to Israel 7 years ago.
Okay, I want to bring in Dov. You know, Dov, the Sephardi chief rabbi, Yitzchak Yosef, said that there is, quote, no excuse for issuing such instructions, the instruction in the Barkan winery, that's what he's talking about, no excuse other than pure racism. Is he wrong?
It's terrible, not only wrong, because it has nothing to do with racism. It could have been white, colored, and he is not a Jew. Like the Russians. Hundreds of thousands of Russians here in Israel are white and non-Jewish. And they also are non-Jewish. So this say of the chief rabbi of Israel is miserable, I would have said. Why? Because only his father is the only one, his father, Rav Ovadia Yosef, that thought carefully that they are Jewish. All the other big authorities of the Jewish nation, all together, in the States and here and everywhere, not less sages than Rav Ovadia Yosef, and in quality much more even. They said they are doubtly Jewish at most.
Every Ethiopian Jew? Are you talking about every Ethiopian Jew?
Every Ethiopian Jew. Now,
are you doubting his Jewishness right now?
Yeah, of course.
Why?
Why?
Nobody will marry him. Nobody will marry him. And he is injured. It's not a matter of a mind. Nobody will marry him.
This is the race theory that the Jewish community in Europe adopted in 1933. Okay, the academic. I'm sorry to tell you that, because it doesn't. If I'm not looking like the Ashkenaz Jewish people, it means that
why the Russians are not Jewish? They look like the Ashkenazis. They look like the Ashkenazis. They're not Jewish.
Let him wrap it up.
Don't say it. It has nothing to do. The Yemenis are black. The Yemenis, and they're Jewish.
Well, the first Aliyah who was from Russia, they were 100% Jewish people. You are talking about the late immigration.
Rabbi, sir, you just have to listen to me and we'll let him finish talking.
Yeah, no, it's a very, you know.
I'll let you weigh in. Just let him finish. Thank you.
What I'm saying is that the Haredi community, if you are not if you are not similar to them, for them, we are not Jewish enough.
And on that front, I really do have to chime in and actually agree with Rabbi Halbertal when he speaks about shameful statements from the chief rabbi, because this chief rabbi, Yitzchak Yosef, only a few weeks earlier caused outrage when he gave a sermon in which he compared a black person to a monkey, used the very offensive...
He was a very controversial person.
Very controversial. No, this current chief rabbi compared to a monkey and used the term kushi as well, which is like the Hebrew N-word. No. So, you know, when he comes out talking about being outraged by racism against black people, I think we all have to take that with a very fine pinch of kosher salt.
Okay.
Y'all heard the racist rhetoric, right? But let's see what he's talking about, a chief rabbi calling black people monkeys. Now, y'all can make believe y'all don't hear it. Understand this. You're not a Jew in their eyes unless they say you are. Has nothing to do with Yah, Elohim, or the Torah, Tanakh. It's them. They are God, and if you are not deemed a Jew according to their science, you are not a Jew. I wish some of you stupid black individualites out there get that in your stupid heads. Get your DNA tested. You know some of y'all out there say that stupid stuff. That ain't in the Bible. Get your DNA tested so they could prove you're a Jew. Shut up!
לא הכל כושי מברכים, אלא צריך שיהיה כושי שאבא שלו ואימא שלו לבנים. איפה אתה תדע? אם אתה יודע, בפעם שאתה יודע, ואתה יצא להם בן קוף, יצא להם בן ככה.
חמורות של גורמי הטרור בסיני, והדבר הנורא ביותר, הצפה של מסתננים בלתי חוקיים מאפריקה
Do Black Lives Matter in Israel? If you ask some of the Ethiopian Jews who are citizens of the state, it doesn't feel that way. They've taken to the streets over the past several weeks to protest police brutality and racism in Israeli society. And this shouldn't be confused with the recent protests of African migrants who aren't Jewish and are seeking asylum. But back to the Ethiopians. These waves of protests were ignited in April after a video went viral of police violently beating an Israeli soldier of Ethiopian descent. And as Israel-based journalist and filmmaker David Sheen told me, that struck a chord with many.
Pretty much every single Ethiopian Jewish man in this country can speak to that experience. Either he's experienced it personally, or his brother, or his uncle, or his friends have been the victims of police brutality.
So what should you know about the Ethiopian Jewish community in Israel? Today, at least 135,000 Ethiopian Jews live in the country, which is approximately 2% of the population. Many of them arrived after Israel airlifted them out during the years of the famine in the 1980s and 90s. Before that, thousands of Ethiopians tried to reach Israel by land, many dying on the journey. But today, despite the fact that these black Jews of Israel are citizens of the state, which entitles them to equal protection under Israeli law, and despite the fact that they serve in the Israeli army and speak fluent Hebrew, they have long been the victims of systemic discrimination. Just how bad is it?
Obviously, being the darkest hued Jews in the country, they face color-based discrimination that's not unlike in the United States and other parts of the world. The Ethiopian community has not been allowed to access to housing all over the country. They were sent to certain communities and other communities refused them. They were sent to certain schools and other schools refused them.
They've also suffered endemic poverty. At least 65% of Ethiopian children live below the poverty line. Just 5% of the community have college degrees, compared with 28% of the broader Jewish population. And on top of that, 1/5 of the inmates in juvenile facilities are Ethiopian Israelis. As organizer Moria Zalka told me, the younger generation of Ethiopian Israelis are fighting to change all of that.
We were born here, we were raised here, we got the education here. So we know our rights, we know what we want. Until we won't see a result, but true result and a long-term results, we won't stop.
So given the community's demands for social justice today, what is the government doing? Well, Prime Minister Netanyahu met with the Ethiopian Israeli soldier who was beaten by police and told him
nothing but lies. The officer was not imprisoned or terminated. These people lie.
Memorial for the 4,000 Ethiopian Jews who died on their way to Israel years ago, saying there is no place for racism and discrimination in our society. He's also set up a ministerial committee to eradicate racism. But is that enough? Many black Jews believe that change will only come with a change of consciousness among Israelis as a whole. And given how small the Ethiopian community is and the fact that it doesn't have a lot of political power, how optimistic should folks be that the government will once and for all address these long-standing concerns?
Oh, so you thought it was just the Ethiopian blacks who catching hell in Israel. What about the American blacks that went over there as the biblical Jews?
Welcome back to Black News Tonight. 3,000 strong African Hebrew Israelites have been calling the state of Israel home since 1969. But there remains an ongoing push to deport them in gradual steps. A recent report by the Times of Israel reveals that last Thursday, the Interior Ministry's Population and Immigration Authority has sent 51 members of the Hebrew Israelites letters ordering them to leave by September 23rd. And these letters were dated August 9th, shortening the deportation time frame by a whole month. Hebrew Israelites live predominantly in the southern city of Dimona. The mayor of the town, Benny Beton, is against the deportation tactics and recently released a statement. In it, he says, "In a conversation I had with the Interior Minister, we arranged for an urgent hearing in her office in order to cancel the deportation of members of the Hebrew community. In addition, Minister Shaked promised to freeze the deportation proceedings until the hearing. Residents of Dimona, members of the Hebrew community, I want to tell you one thing. As long as I'm here, I will not lend a hand in this horrible expulsion." Joining me now from Dimona, Israel, is Sar Amar'E Ben Yehuda. He is the Minister of Information for the African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem. Shalom, my brother. Welcome to the show. The Interior Ministry's Population and Immigration Authority sends y'all these letters, and it's not the first time that this is happening. The Dimona mayor is standing by your community. If you have the mayor supporting you, you all have been there for over 50 years. So many people have supported you. How is this happening? Why is this happening now?
Shalom, Mark. Good to speak with you again, and thanks for having us. Indeed, that is the question, and particularly the timing is very, very inappropriate. We're on the eve, the literal eve of the highest of the high holy days here, Yom Kippur, a day that's set aside for atonement and reconciliation among brethren. And this is how the Ministry of Interior, this is the message that they send us. That's troubling for us. That's certainly the height of inappropriateness. Where is the sensitivity? But as you said, this isn't something new. We've been here before throughout our history here. And there's no question that some of these, not some, but all of that 51, that they did fall between the cracks of legality where the immigration laws were concerned. But I would remind your viewers and remind, obviously, those who sit in the Ministry of Interior offices that Israel was founded upon the idea of an illegal immigration. It is how the state of Israel came into being, part and parcel of it. Those who were engaged in those activities 50, 60, 70 years ago, rather, that they are enshrined forever as heroes and heroines in the history of Israel. And so we find it quite inappropriate, quite disingenuous to serve these notices on the eve of this holy day.
You weren't surprised by the ruling, which is interesting. I mean, when you came on the show a couple of months ago, some people had gotten notices. There was some hope that there'd be a stay, that there'd be some kind of pushback, that the state would change its mind. But since then, there hasn't been. Why are you not surprised that there hasn't been a change in sentiment or a change in policy from the state toward the African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem?
Well, we're not surprised simply because this was an appeal to the same ministry and the same departments and the same functionaries who sit in the offices of the Ministry of Interior that were asked to make the appeal, and to ask them to rule against themselves was not quite, it wasn't something we had a lot of hope in. These are religious party functionaries. These are right-wing elements. And I have to be frank and say that these are racist elements that actually still hold many of these positions in that particular ministry. And that's not just us talking. There's a report that was prepared for a government ministry. It was the Ministry of Diaspora Affairs, and a rabbi, in one of his comments, he says there are clear racial elements in the Ministry of Interior, and some of its employees seem to harbor a hostile approach. Said these people should be removed from their posts. So we're not surprised. This is going to require a legal and or political resolution. And so we're still hopeful, and we see indications that such is in the works. Again, the mayor is a great supporter. He does have certain clout and inroads that may appeal to the voices of reason. There was a new government finally after nearly 2 years of being in limbo here. There were no budgets. So what I'm saying is that it's a very, very fragile coalition that they were able to cobble together, and no one wants to upset a lot of these different support and elements within that coalition. So we'll see what happens, but we do see indications that they're looking for a way that they can come up with a resolution that doesn't compromise their fragility.
So, I mean, this is very confusing to me. It's always been very confusing to me. I've spent a great deal of time there. I've spent time with you in the community. I've seen what goes on there. I've never fully understood why at this juncture, why there'd be such a push to get you out. Race seems to be an issue that you're raising. I mean, many of the members were born and raised in Israel. They've never lived anywhere else. Many have served in the IDF. They served in the Israeli military. They've done the things that Israeli citizens do. What's their reason? I mean, what reason can they give other than we just don't think you belong?
I don't know of anything that makes any sense, Mark. It does tie back. It does have its roots in a great fear. We would say it's an irrational fear, but it's a fear of the people of African ancestry all over the world that do have links to this land, and it's a fear of their awakening and wanting to identify and specifically wanting to then immigrate here. But let's deal with just one group, and we're not talking about the Africans in America, though. That's a major group in itself. Let's talk about the Igbo of Nigeria. Let's talk about the.
Let me pause you for 1 minute, Amar'E, because I want you to get to the Igbo, because that's actually an interesting point. But I want to play devil's advocate just a little bit here. The state of Israel will say, we're not racist. Yeah. We had Operation Moses. We've had Operation Jacob. We have literally airlifted Ethiopians during war and famine from the continent of Africa, from Ethiopia, and brought them into the state of Israel and made them citizens. So if we brought them in, clearly we're not racist. Maybe it's y'all. What do you say to that?
First of all, we have knowledge that there are more than 240,000 more than were airlifted of Ethiopian Jews remaining in Ethiopia that the country has not moved to bring here, that are waiting, that want to come and immigrate to Israel, that have family members here. We would say, what happened to the continuation of that particular effort? It smacks of possibly that this was just a stopgap measure to say exactly that we're not racist because we've done X, Y, and Z. And we would say that that's disingenuous on their part.
What can you say to people who say, why do you want to be there? You're black people, your origins are in Chicago, at least in modern history, Chicago, right? Ben Amin Ben Israel, left Chicago, went to Liberia, then goes to Israel. Y'all are from Chicago. Why not just go somewhere else? Why do y'all want to be in Israel so bad? What do you say to them?
Well, you're right. I'm from D.C. And by the way, Mark, from Philly, conceived in Philly. We would simply say that we know that 60%, right, I knew that. We would say that 60%, it is known that 60% of the Africans in America came through the port of Charleston, and that upwards of 60% of them were probably of Igbo origin, West African ethnic origins. Well, the Igbo, their historical narratives, their saga, their migration sagas point them to Israel. And so our legitimate search for identity led us back to Israel, not just to West Africa. The threads of our cultural continuity did not stop or begin in West Africa. They continued back to this land. Israel is Northeast Africa. So this is the land of our ancestry. We're Judeans. We're not Jewish in the sense of being adherents to Judaism and the tenets of that religion. We are Judeans. So we actually live in southern Judea. This is where I've made my home for the last 40 plus years, where we as a community have lived for 50 plus years. So there is an authentic, proven by some DNA testing, that authenticates our presence here and our ties here. And if indeed this is our ancestral land, then the Ministry of Interior need to wake up to some things and understand that there are some spiritual and metaphysical consequences that would be the result of them trying to deport us at this particular time.
How does this end?
That's a good question, Mark. We're hopeful And our hope again does not lie in the political or the legal. We have faith and hope. We are spiritual people. We believe in the organic link of the man and the land. We would simply say, as Ben-Ami has said before, we understand the gatekeepers having their responsibility, but again, that authority only goes but so far. Here on the eve of Yom Kippur, we would expect another decision. We would expect another intervention, so to speak. And again, in Ben-Ami's words, no power on earth will or can stop us from manifesting our destiny in this land.
Now, Amar'E, you don't see none of this happening, my brother? You don't. When I was in Israel, I saw and heard the evils of these racist Israelis. You playing ball with them, you all in their grill, smiling in their face. To hell with those people. They're going to get blown to hell and back according to Yah, according to Yahweh, according to Elohim. I'm going to show you how the scriptures on that. Amar'E, you better get your head right, my brother. I love you. I'm not saying this out of hatred. I got faith. I got zeal. That's where this is coming from. It's not coming from a place of hate, brother. I just want you to wake up. Our people, we trying to do big things to help our people. None of you athletes is helping us, but you're busy helping the white man. You're busy helping that white man that hates your people's guts.
The Jews, the 12 lost tribes of Israel, who we are, because we Jews.
I'm glad that I could stand on the truth, because I'm not afraid of these mics, these cameras. I used to be, looking everyone in the eye and telling them the truth. And I'm proud of who I am. Any label that you put on me, I'm able to dismiss because I study. I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from.
So when I was making a point about us standing up, we can no longer really live as hidden people. We cannot live in the shadows. That's the point I was making. Can't live in the shadows. God's people was meant to be on the hilltop. God's people, the scriptures say that you don't light a candle and put it underneath a bushel, you put it on the top for the whole world to see. Y'all dig it? That's what Christ said. So we are not to be hidden. But as you can see, our enemies don't want us to be illuminated. They don't want us to be seen. They don't want us to enjoy each other's company. They don't want us to have that umbrella, that atmosphere of righteousness. They don't want us to have that, because the more that we attain to righteousness, the closer our God gets to us. And the closer our God gets to us, the quicker and the more certain the kingdom is coming. So it's a very real reason why they do what they do. Because the longer we stay in sin, the longer we stay in evil, the longer they stay in power, and the longer this earth stays out of course.
Amen, because Kanye said, I don't want to keep Kwanzaa. I want to keep Hanukkah. Oh, God, what the hell is this nigga doing? Why? Because he's revealing what our true heritage is? Okay? You Christians watching, you don't know a damn thing. Give me that real quick, Yuri, in John 10:22. You say you follow the Son of God. I'm going to prove you're a liar right now.
John chapter 10, verse 22.
Let's see what Christ celebrated.
And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of the dedication.
The feast of the dedication is Hanukkah. Go ahead.
And it was winter.
In the winter season, come on.
And Jesus walked in the temple.
Jesus walked into the temple. Understand that thing. So, listen, you don't honor Christ. You don't celebrate nothing. I'm talking to you Christians. You black and Latino Christians. You celebrate nothing Messiah celebrated. Only thing you celebrate is what your Edomite white slave masters commanded you. Like Christmas.
You ain't out here getting beat up every day like me. You ain't out here getting called crazy every day like me. You ain't out here getting your family snatched like me. You ain't out here half your culture getting aborted like me. You ain't out here getting outraged with false narratives like BLM like me. So for all the Jewish media, y'all want to sit down and have a conversation with me? Then let's have a conversation.
Be living as a free black man here in America, knowing the historical complexities for me to get here. So I'm not going to stand down on anything that I believe in. I'm only going to get stronger because I'm not alone.
There's no such thing as we are Jews also. White people are not the Jews the Bible speaks of. They're not the Jews. Then let me tell you something, Brother Ye. You go into war, you might have billions of dollars, but you go into war by yourself. All your friends abandon you. But don't worry, God has his army right here. You can't go to war without an army.
Kanye West has been waging a campaign of anti-Semitism that just inspired a hate group to use his words like a celebrity endorsement for anti-Semitism and hang hateful banners above LA's 405 freeway. So how should it be handled when hate breeds hate in this way? You know, because the first thing people will say to you, well, it's free speech. Well, just because you can say something doesn't mean you should. And you know, when they're coming after me, next day they're coming after you. And the day after that, they're coming after you. And then these people who think that they're in the clear, then somebody comes after you all. And then what are you going to do? What are you going to do? How do we combat this?
9 months previous to Whoopi Goldberg speaking that talk, let's see who came after her. I want to see which Caucasian group came after Whoopi Goldberg. You're going to find out she got suspended for opening her big black lips.
The View co-host Whoopi Goldberg suspended for 2 weeks for her comments about the Holocaust. Ariel Reshef has the story. Good morning, Ariel.
Good morning to you, George. Though Goldberg has apologized, her comments sparked a firestorm, some seeing this as a troubling sign of fading understanding about the horrors of the Holocaust.
This morning, ABC News suspending Whoopi Goldberg for 2 weeks in response to her inflammatory remarks about the Holocaust. ABC News President Kim Godwin saying in a statement, effective immediately, I am suspending Whoopi Goldberg for 2 weeks for her wrong and hurtful comments. While Whoopi has apologized, I've asked her to take time to reflect and learn about the impact of her comments. The entire ABC News organization stands in solidarity with our Jewish colleagues, friends, family, and communities.
If you're going to do this, then let's be truthful about it, because the Holocaust isn't about race.
On Monday's show, the host of ABC's The View inaccurately claimed the Holocaust was not related to race.
It's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man. That's what it's about. Whoopi Goldberg.
Goldberg appearing to double down on the Colbert Show that night.
The American experience tends to be based on skin.
Yes. And so that is what race means to me. When you talk about being a racist, I was saying you can't call this racism. This was evil. This wasn't based on the skin. You couldn't tell who was Jewish. They had to delve deeply to figure it out. This wasn't based on the skin. You couldn't tell who was Jewish. They had to delve deeply to figure it out.
Then tweeting an apology, saying in part, the Jewish people around the world have always had my support, and that will never waver. I'm sorry for the hurt I have caused. And the next day, opening The View with this.
I said that the Holocaust wasn't about race, and it was instead about man's inhumanity to man. But it is indeed about race, because Hitler and the Nazis considered Jews to be an inferior race. Now, words matter, and mine are no exception. I regret my comments, as I said, and I stand corrected. I also stand with the Jewish people, as they know and y'all know, because I've always done that.
By the end of the Holocaust, just 77 years ago, 6 million Jews had been murdered.
That might not fit exactly or feel different than the way we think about race in 21st century America, where primarily it's about people of color. But throughout the Jewish people's history, they have been marginalized, they have been persecuted, they have been slaughtered, in large part because many people felt they were not just a different religion, but indeed a different race.
The head of the Anti-Defamation League warning anti-Semitism is still a real and present danger.
We need people on good faith on the left and the right to call this out forcefully, fully, without hesitation.
And studies show an alarming decline in knowledge about the Holocaust at a time when anti-Semitism has surged to unprecedented levels. The FBI saying Jews are the most targeted for religious-based hate crimes in this country. And George, as you heard there, Goldberg saying she regrets her comments and any hurt they may have caused.
Yes, she did. Okay, Ariel.
So Caucasians want us to believe that they are the Jews of the Bible. How should we respond? What should we say?
Sure you are. That's
Lies, lies, lies. And the list goes on and on and on. And it doesn't stop if you don't make it stop. So recognize they're trumped up. They're conjured up. They're fabricated. They're lies. And how do you stop the lies? You stop the lies with the truth. The truth. The truth will set you free. The truth will stand, and the truth will deliver you.
Exodus 4:22. And how in the hell did you try to take this Bible and use it for everybody? You stupid as hell. You dumb as hell. This Bible is what's going to condemn you. Because this is the book of the Israelites. You should have destroyed this book, you dumb so-called white people. Instead of going around and trying to use the Bible is the book that's going to destroy your world. Because the Bible is the book of the Israelites. Exodus 4:22. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh and Moses, go and say to the Egyptian king, Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son. Thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son. Even my firstborn. Even my firstborn. What do we mean by my firstborn? Above all nations that are upon the face of this earth. Give me Deuteronomy 7, 6, and 7. I'm going to let him read for a while, Mike.
This is Deuteronomy 7 and 6 and 7. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
Not all nations on this earth, but Israel is the holy people. The Israelites are the holy people.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
It said the Lord thy God has chosen Israel to be a special people unto himself. What does unto himself mean? Only. Only. No other nation is the people of God. Only the Israelites are the people of God. Read it again.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
For Israel is a holy people unto the Lord thy God.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
The Lord thy God hath chosen Israel to be a special people unto himself. Above. What do above mean? Because you're some dumb people out here. You don't even know how to read. You don't even know common language. Simple language. This is simple English. And you don't understand.
I'm not playing to any cameras. They are the so-called Jews because we are the true Jews, the true Hebrews, the true and real Israelites whose birthright has been stolen by them. We are the true ones that fulfill Bible prophecy and scripture.
Isn't it a fact that you know by throwing out those terms you're guaranteed press coverage?
I'm not throwing out terms. I'm fighting age-old enemies, and I'm planting seeds in the minds and hearts of the youth and the masses of my people that we will not make the same mistakes again. As they say in the so-called Jewish community, never again, never again.
Now, over this last year, I have said that we, the black people of America, are the real children of Israel, of your scriptures. And I have explained the meaning of this to no challenge. God is indeed present where we are in the book. See, we took a picture. The natural thing is, where do I fit in this? See, and as black people, you don't believe that God really loves you, that he really cares about you. And when the pastors preach, come on now, you mean to tell me the prophets could see the end of time and didn't see the horror of the transatlantic slave trade and write about it? You mean the prophets could see and they didn't see America and the wickedness of America? No, don't look at me like I'm crazy now. If they saw this and wrote about it, then they saw you in her midst, a destroyed people. But where is it in the book? I would like to challenge pastors to look at the scripture again, because we are all the way through it from Genesis to Revelation. You think it's talking about white people. They in there now. Oh, they got a heavy roll in there. You can't raise that kind of hell and God not give you your pot.
I'm here on a spiritual retreat, visiting my family in Dimona.
Second of all,
I love Israel. Yeah, what are you going to say this morning? My land.
Then, in what could be best described as an unlikely photo op, Whitney and Bobby did a meet and greet with Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon, whose hand Whitney declined to shake.
Whatever sector, you know what I'm saying? But I grew up an Israelite. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So my family are Hebrew Israelites, and so I was able to somewhat learn from that growing up. And then it just gravitated me to go to Israel and see what I've been learning firsthand. Wow. So I went there on that.
Like, whatever I feel in my body and my heart, that's just what I am. Like, just growing up, my uncle was a Hebrew Israelite. He passed away. I looked up to him a lot. You know what I'm saying? It just, the little bit I know about it, you know, so I just feel like that's our true religion. You know what I'm saying? Our people are Israelites. That's what I believe. You know what I'm saying? Just.
This is finding out who we really are. Broke them just 12 tribes of Judah. Broke them just 12 tribes of Judah. Y'all AI, I'm Haitian. Y'all AI, I'm Haitian. We're leaving Babylon. Going back to Zion, even Babylon, yo. Going back to Zion, yeah we are. Oh Jaja, oh Jaja, oh Jaja, oh Jaja. Hey. Stevie Wonder!
Although they attracted star supporters like Stevie Wonder, the community remained in official limbo for decades.
I love you.
Those that choose to use disrespectful views for original Jews. The chosen people of God be slandered and abused in the streets and the news by the season that food. The synagogues and Satan want to keep us confused. That's how we lose. Got the ill street blues. From Chirac to England, me and Common dropping bombs like the baby pain. It's been stabbed in the chamber. We do this for.
Wish all my people wake up. Why we be acting so ignorant? Know we can read, know we can write, so why we be acting illiterate? Like we can't read in between the lines. I promise you I just can't riddle it. Instead of us sticking together, we killing each other and acting like idiot. Hold up, we the one making the least of the money, but mainly the one that's spending it. $1.25 trillion, but who do you think get the benefits? I ain't got no problem with no other race, but we gotta support our own businesses. Spend all our money with people who hate us, but towards each other we envious.
Influenced by the Hebrew Israelites. I'm an Israelite. Don't call me black no more. That word is only a color. It ain't facts no more. I don't wear crosses no more. Yahshua was coming back. I ain't scared of losses no more. I see life in that. Hey, I'm an Israelite. My diamonds Israelites. You're probably wondering, what? Black Israelites? Yeah, but it's not what you think. In a deeply reported article on Genius by writer Sam Casteval, we see how small spiritual movement is influencing the bars of some of your favorite artists. Kendrick Lamar's Damn, the song Fear should have come to mind. In a voicemail that opens the song, Kendrick's cousin Carl Duckworth, known in the Hebrew Israelite community as Carney Ben Israel, is heard discussing that same chapter.
Deuteronomy 28 and 28 says, the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart.
Kendrick was
supposedly blown away by this verse during study sessions with his cousin Duckworth. Kistenbaum writes, quote, Hebrew Israelites point to the chapter of Deuteronomy 28, in particular a passage that describes how the biblical Israelites will be sent back in ships to Egypt for their disobedience to God, as a prophetic foretelling of the enslavement of African people in the Americas.
Then who I am, biblically, like spiritually, the true Israelite, I'm not sure if change is ever going to come on that end. So now my thing is I'm pleading that change will come amongst us, amongst God's chosen one. I had somebody come up on my page the other day and was like, and I never read my comments, but since all this has been going on, you know, I kind of read because sometimes I have other celebrities or other people hit me in DMs and stuff I normally don't check to ask me to be a part of stuff or just checking up on me and we're checking up on each other. And so I saw the person say, you know, we're all God's children. And yeah, we are. But he has his 12 tribe, his chosen one. And I know who I am. But he has his 12 tribe, his chosen one. And I know who I am. But he has his 12 tribe, his chosen one. And I know who I am. And that's what I was talking about. And so in order to know what I was talking about, you got to study that to show that stuff. You got to study. We got to get in the book. We cannot depend on the law of the land. We cannot depend on the government. We cannot depend on certain things. We got to depend on the book. What's the book? That's the word. That's the Bible.
A lot of people don't want to have those type of conversations, and those are the conversations we need to have. Again, I said it on my last week that we all won. Dominicans, Jamaicans, Puerto Ricans, we all won. It was just a different stop that we had on the boat. My stop and my people's stop was in Puerto Rico. Somebody else's stop was in DR. Somebody else's spot was in Jamaica. At the end of the day, we don't want to have these conversations. This is the curriculum that needs to be in the school system. You know why they don't want to hear it? Because they uncomfortable talking about it. At the end of the day, we have to continue to. You guys want to have this conversation with me? Let's have this conversation. Let's talk about it. We can talk about the 12 tribes of Israel, who was the chosen people. Let's talk about it. We can talk about the original man. I'm ready to talk about this all day.
Totally bigger mission going on. Now, for as my beliefs in being an Israelite, I don't know how many people are familiar with the 12 tribes of Israel, but Judah happens to be one of the leading tribes, and the so-called African American or Negro from the Americas or from the tribe of Judah. And so that's what I'm representing, and being a representative for all the black people around the world as a reputation for Judah and the other 11 tribes of Israel. Now do your research. You can do your research and, look it up and find out the truth for yourself. I'm not going to sit up here and explain everything.
They say you Hebrew, you ain't Haitian. I'm Hebrew Israelite. I'm Jewish and I'm Jewish. I'm a real Jew. Like I ain't convert. I was born this. And my bar mitzvah coming soon. And you invited.
And we original man and woman anyway.
That part.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah.
And when you do your real true research about the Hebrews and the Jews and the Israelites and all that, you find out that they look a lot like us sitting in this room right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when you do your real true research about the Hebrews and the Jews and the Israelites and all that, you find out that they look a lot like us sitting in this room right now.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe somebody stole some of the Jewish religion. Anyway, let me shut up. I don't have to be like some people stole from the get-go, but...
For 400 years, you had your knees on her neck, a garden of evil with no seeds of respect. In America's mirror, all she sees is regret. Instead of letting blood live, they begging for bloodlet.
The Bible has said 400 years it said people will be in a country that you would be strangers in for 400 years, and this is 401. 1619. That's when slavery started, 1619. So here we are in 2020 and all this going on. I happen to be like, I feel like this is ordained, what I mean? I think it's the fulfillment of a prophecy. And everybody's saying, yo, we're at war and we're unprepared. We don't have the ammunition. We don't have the preparation. We don't have the strategy. We don't have the leadership. We don't have the, hey, bruh, God only gonna fight with one of us. God will only fight with one side of this. And if it's, and if he fight with us, and guess what? It's all the we need.
I know you don't really fuck with people. I know you don't really do these podcasts and shit like that, but I need you. And he said, Joe, I really don't. But for you, my brother, I'll do it. And I'm beyond honored. But when I was speaking to you, you told me, yo, Joe, I'm into I'm Jewish now. But how do you break that down to me, G?
Well, I didn't say Jewish, Joe.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
I just said I'll come to the realization, saying some years back, that who we call African Americans here in this country is the descendants of the biblical Hebrew Israelites. You know what I'm saying? I know the boy Nick Cannon caught a lot of flack for saying it, because he's on a tremendous platform.
Who's
you know what I'm saying? Nick Cannon.
Oh, Nick Cannon said that, and then that was the controversy.
Yeah, because he mentioned that the original Hebrew Israelites was people of color. You feel me?
And so.
But it's not just him saying that. If you study, you read certain history books, you start digging. You know what I'm saying?
Abraham was an African. Abraham was an African. I believe he was born in Ur of Chaldea. He was an African. Moses, an African, educated in Kemet. They looked like me. Moses looked like me. Abraham looked like me. The 12 tribes, they look like me. When did the seed of Abraham? When did the seed of Abraham, brothers and sisters, I'm not being disrespectful, I'm being honest. One of the questions I must ask the untouchable, if the seed of Abraham look like me, when did the seed of Abraham cease to be African and start being Neanderthal? I need an answer to this, brothers and sisters. I need an answer to this, brothers and sisters. When did the seed of Abraham cease being Africoid and became Caucasoid? When did the seed of Abraham cease being Africoid and became Caucasoid? When did the seed of Abraham cease being Africoid and became Caucasoid? I need an answer.
Now, to all those mamsas out there, right. And the word mamsa means bastards.
Bastards. Yes, sir.
Don't get offended because I said bastards.
Right.
That's in Zechariah 9 and 6. Yep. Somebody read that for me, Zechariah 9 and 6.
Bring it out. Bring it out.
All right, Zechariah chapter 9, verse 6. And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. And I will
we visited Ashdod is over there in Israel. Yep. Okay, the Bible lived there. Don't think it's anti-Semitism. Contre mon frère. Right. No, not at all. This is Bible talk. You'd have to burn all the Bibles on a planet in order for us to stop. And we still ain't gonna stop teaching if you did that either.
That's right.
But I sent something to Captain Amaziah. I want y'all to put it on the screen. And I want somebody to read it. Please.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
I'll send it to you.
Let's get that.
You got it right, Elisha? All right, 1 second.
And this is from a book from the white man.
That's right.
Here we go. Blow it up.
Blow it up. I'll read it. All right, it's on the screen?
Yeah, right there.
All right. And it says, genetic connection with the biblical Jews of Palestine at all. And this was known among themselves and among the more astute Jewish and non-Jewish historians and linguists.
How come I don't see it? Where's the page? How come I don't see it?
Is it on the screen?
He can't see from
because you're on Zoom, Bishop. You're on Zoom.
Oh, I'm on Zoom. Okay, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Shazam! Shazam! I'm going to read that again. And this was known among themselves and among the more astute Jewish and non-Jewish historians and linguists from at least 1700 AD. It was a well-known, if disguised and ignored, fact of Jewish life from 1850 onward. Most of what we, Gentiles, in North America consider to be Jewish, and most of what even the Ashkenazim immigrants into North America consider to be Jewish is not Jewish at all. Oh, I thought you were going to say something on that. All right.
Yeah, the Hasidic.
The Hasidic sidelocks, the skull cap, yarmulke, the rabbis' fur trim hats and caftans. Guess whatever. None of that is Jewish. Wow. Not in the sense that it originated from the people of Abraham in ancient Palestine. It is all Khazar.
Damn.
It reflects.
Y'all see that?
It reflects traditions.
That's some heavy stuff right there. Was there more?
Yes, sir.
There's more, Bishop.
It is all Khazar. It reflects traditions of steppe tribesmen who never had anything to do with biblical Hebrews or Judaism.
Wow.
Drop a bomb on that.
See that?
I like that thing right there.
They're going to have to lay hands on us.
Yeah. Lock us up.
Y'all know in New York City in Jacob Javits Center this week, they're having a major meeting with so-called Jewish elite and black leaders, you know, the phony black leaders, about anti-Semitism and what must be done to stop it.
Damn.
I'm telling you, they write legislation. They already made laws. They're going to make it. They're going to outlaw proper biblical teachings. Why? That's when they're going to arrest us. They're going to imprison us. They're going to torture and kill a lot of us. I'm telling you that because that's what the Bible says. That's what the Bible says. Right. In Revelation 2, 9 down and 10, it says that thing. Let's read that. Hey, real quick, Revelation 2, 9 and 10, please.
Yes, sir.
Nathaniel, you got it?
I'm sorry, Deacon Athon, but your class stirred me up.
Yes, sir. All praise.
Okay, Bishop, I ain't said nothing. I ain't got nothing to say.
Go ahead, bro.
Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
Now watch this. We never make the connection, but watch the next verse. Go ahead.
Fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison.
Wait a minute.
Stop right there. The devil is the same synagogue of Satan. The devil is the same synagogue of Satan who made laws and legislation to arrest the real black Jews. Go ahead.
That ye may be tried. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life.
Damn. Hear what the Bible says? Woo. So that prison for 10 days, the tribulation goes into affliction and torture. I'm telling y'all what's going to happen. The spirit of the seven churches is back in the earth today. That's why it's written there. Don't think it was just for back then. Although those things happened back then, they're going to happen again today.
That's right.
Just watch. Hold on, brothers and sisters. Y'all just hold on. I'll let you go, y'all.
All praise to Bishop.
Give Bishop a round of applause, man. All praise.
We are a Semitic people, therefore we cannot be anti-Semitic. Ashkenazic Jews are calling us anti-Semitic. We cannot be anti-Semitic because we are the descendants of a Semitic people. Let's lay that to rest.
This is going to explain the seed line of the Semitic peoples. So, well, I'm choosing this line of children here. The ones that come through are Arphaxad. Shem, Arphaxad, he has Shelah. Then came Eber, Peleg, Reu, Sirug, Nahor, Terah, which was the father of Abram, who became Abraham. He said, that's what I'm dealing with. So out of Esau and Israel, God chose Israel, hence the Israelites. Put that back up on the screen, Alicia. Gave birth to Esau and Jacob. From Jacob, you have the 12 tribes of Israel, which are your modern day so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Hence the Israelites. Guess what we all are? Shemitic Esau. Isaac also had Esau, which became the Edomites, which are your today's Caucasians. Guess what they are? Shemitic. Abraham also had Ishmael, which became the father of the Arabs. Guess what all the Arabs are? Shemitic. So there's a whole lot of Shemitic families in the earth, but the white man has deceived you into thinking only that little group in Israel are the only Semites. Did he say JDL or ADL? He said JDL. Who is the JDL? Let's look at this article here. FBI files on Tupac Shakur murder show he received death threats from Jewish gang. Files state that Jewish Defense League, that's the JDL, had extorted money from various rap music stars by making death threats and then offering protection for a fee. So I started off with that. I want you to look at the headline. The publisher of this article is the Haaretz. This is a so-called Jewish publication. So don't go, oh, anti-Semitism. Stop the BS. This is put together by so-called Jewish people, who's not the Jews at all. Now let's go down. It says files released Thursday by the Federal Bureau of Investigation on the 1996 murder of rapper Tupac Shakur state that the star had received death threats from the Jewish Defense League, an organization that has been characterized as a terrorist group. Shakur was shot dead in Las Vegas in September 1996 in a murder case which remained unsolved. Now check that out. And that guy wanted to contact the JDL, right? Mm-hmm.
I'm still not backing down from what I said. It's Jewish people that did bad business. I'm Semite, so I can't be anti-Semitic. They stole our history from us. They stole who we are, and it's up. In Jesus' name, amen. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, brothers. All right, sisters. You saw it for yourself. You saw it for yourself. You can't make this stuff up. I couldn't make it up even if I tried. Woo! Y'all saw the evil in Israel. And brothers will go there and stay silent. As if that land of Israel is the land we're supposed to go to right now. No, our enemies run that land right now. But when I went there, like I said, I saw much evil.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ blessed. Bishop Nathaniel here. We're in Tel Aviv again. This is our second time here. We're at this park here, and this park is a haven of freaking derelicts and, well, some of the refugees are here. I want you to take a walk with me. I'm going to show y'all something, all right? See, we got, where you from? Sudan? Okay, come on. So a lot of our people, you know, they're struggling out here. They come from various parts of Africa, okay? You all right, brother? Oh, this guy's gone. He's gone, all right? You all right? Where you from? Guinea. Where you from? All right? Eritrea. Where you from? Eritrea. You're not from Eritrea. No, he is, but I don't think you are. I know you. I've seen you. Okay, you see him with all the money in his hand? Just take a look. You're Indian? Now look at this. He said, where are you from? India. He's from India. You got some woolly hair there. My father, African. Your father's African. Wow, okay. So now, let me say this, Zeph. So, Zeph, where you at? I did that to say this. So you saw the brother with the money, right? That's the dope boy right there. He's the one that they hire and use to give free hits to the people in this area. Now, he might look like a derelict himself. He's not a derelict. I've been peeping that guy for a while. There was a car that drove around there also. Israel's building a case against the refugees. If they can prove and get public opinion against them that they're useless, void, have no use to society, they can get everybody against them and get them out. So what they're doing, if you look, a lot of these guys are high. Like if you look over there behind the camp, okay, there's a circle of them, and there's guys giving them free. How you gonna have drugs but you got no money?
And there's cameras all over this
And
place.
there's cameras all over the place. There was a military guy here earlier. He was more concerned with recording us than getting the dope boys out of this area, okay? So Israel, we got to be aware of, I wanted to blow his spot up, but he had an AK. But we definitely got to be aware, like I was saying, there's a gray car that drives by here, collects the money from that guy, okay? And listen, I'm on top of my game. I know what I'm doing. Just bear with me. Might blow a spot up. Might be all hell out here later on. I'm just waiting. I'm letting the spirit, bear itself out. Okay, so you got all these guys out here. These are some of the refugees that came out of the that prison center. Okay, we're a bit early today, so as you see, the crowd isn't that thick. You got one guy here, two guys listening on the bench. It's not really too many people, but don't worry about that. The Spirit of God is on us. All right. So Israel, you just stay tuned. And IUIC received very little help from our brothers in Dimona. We tried the refugees we tried to organize. We wanted to meet with the Ethiopians out there. We got no assistance. So we didn't have a vehicle. There were no more vehicles where we were at to rent. So we needed the Dimona brothers to help us. Very little help. And the day of there was a big meeting. We wanted to be a part of this meeting to teach the people who they are, help organize them on what to do, what not to do. No, we're not helping you. We're not helping you. You can't make this stuff up. Now you see all the evil going on out there in Israel. Okay? You don't hear Amar'E Stoudemire talking about that. But he's busy trying to whip our brother Kyrie. Flew all the way back over here. Okay? Now, like I said before, a lot of you stars, you athletes, you say y'all ain't nobody, you're nothing but broke ass niggas. You're right, we are broke ass niggas. But we doing the best we can with the little bit we got. We asking y'all for help to help us do things. Y'all don't help. Y'all see us in Liberia, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Ghana, Ecuador. We're trying to do a school. We got a school. We're building a school in Africa.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Deacon Abiel here. We are here in Kumasi, Ghana, and I am completely blown away. As you can see behind me, we have the new school. It's in construction. It's being built from the ground up. Everybody's putting a brick in, y'all. It's your turn.
Donate, donate, donate. As you can see where your money go. We're not pocketing your money. We're not driving expensive cars. We are doing the work Most High God put in our heart to do, just like in the book of Nehemiah.
You guys out there in all the countries watching, you've been the key to this taking place. Without your donations and your help, we wouldn't be where we're at now. You understand? The Lord says, as you know in Ezekiel, build sanctuaries. This is the first of many, Lord's will, that we're building.
Put your brick in. We need your donations. We need your help. As you all see, this right here is fulfillment of prophecy. The scripture says that this gospel of the kingdom is going to be preached unto the whole world as a witness unto all nations. And then shall the end come. What you see right here is fulfillment of prophecy. Put your brick in, twiddling your thumbs. Those of you all that's not here, ain't boots on the ground, you have a way to help.
It costs money to get to these places, but are you rich and famous helping us? No. You're busy calling names and attacking. So guess what? We got to do the best we can with the little we got from the poor of the people. That's all we got. We all we got. But the Most High has promised us He's going to send more and more help. So again, rise up, you mighty race. The controversy of Zion is on. I'm going to show you. Let's open up with Isaiah 34. Isaiah chapter 34. Y'all bear with me. We're going to open up with Isaiah 34. Now I want to start at verse 2. And the reason I want to start at verse 2 is because of some of you Israelites, with your passive-aggressive selves,
God's going to save all the nations. God ain't saving all the nations. I don't know where you get that from. Isaiah 34, verse 2. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. So God's going to destroy the armies of the world. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved. The hosts of heaven are your jets, your planes, your satellites. And the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. That's that mushroom cloud when you drop an atom bomb or nuclear bomb. Then it reads on, and all their hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falleth from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. Who's Idumea? When you look it up, Idumea is the Greco-Roman name for Esau, Edom. That's the entire Caucasian race. Whether they call themselves German Caucasian, Italian Caucasian, French Caucasian, American Caucasian, Jewish Caucasian, they're all British Caucasians, they're all Idumea. And I'm bringing this out also because you have these evil Christians that say, oh, Esau, Idumea has already been destroyed from the time of the book of Samuel. That's a lie. So who was Christ coming to kill here? In Isaiah 34, verse 5, let's read it again. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, that's Esau, Edom, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Bozrah, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. The land of Idumea includes first and foremost America, followed by Britain, followed Germany, Italy, and Israel. That's right, I said and Israel. Verse 7, and a unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, with their land, shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion. You see that? For the controversy of Zion. Now let's deal with this controversy of Zion. Just a bit. Where do I want to go? I'll go to Joel chapter 3 and 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. Now, what does that mean? When he shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. Go to Jeremiah 30 and verse 1, and it reads, the word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, thus speaketh the Lord God of Israel, saying, write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. Here it is, verse 3. For lo, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people, Israel and Judah, saith the Lord, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. So the Lord is going to bring all 12 tribes back. I'm going to say that part again. The Lord is going to bring all 12 tribes back. Not the League of Nations, not Britain and America bringing Polish and Uzbekistan and Russian and German people to the land and classifying them as Jews in 1948. No, that ain't the prophecy, brothers and sisters. That ain't the prophecy. So back to Joel chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations. This goes back to what we just read in Isaiah 34. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. That means valley of decision. And why did it say decision for Jehoshaphat? Because the Lord is going to deal or decide over this controversy, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel. Well, what happened to Israel? Whom they have scattered among the nations. How did they scatter us among the nations? It's called slavery. From the sub-Saharan slave trade to the transatlantic slave trade. When we went through the sub-Saharan slave trade, we went through all Islamic countries. India, Iran, Iraq, Arabia. Transatlantic slave trade, they sent us to European countries where we worship the white Jesus. Britain, London, United Kingdom, France, Germany, America, Canada. Oh yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Let's read that part again. And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And parted my land. See what happened once they scattered the 12 tribes of Israel? They parted the land of Israel. Parted it between who? Between the Arab Palestinians and the white man, Idumea. That's what they did. That's what they did. Let's read on. Let's read on. This is when they scattered us. Watch what happens in verse 3. And they have cast lots for my people. To cast lots means to bid. They bid for us in slavery. And have given a boy for an harlot. They made the men into breeders. Have sex with all the women so you can have more and more slave for production. And sold a girl for wine that they might drink. They sold a girl for wine that they could have sex with the girls. Okay. Verse 4. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon? Tyre and Zidon are Nilote Africans, Hamites. Tyre and Zidon are Nilotic Hamites. And all the coasts of Palestine. Palestine, that's the Palestinians, the Arabs. They were already in the land when the white man got there. Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me, that means pay me back, judge me, God is saying. Swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head. Verse 5. Because you have taken my silver and my gold. They robbed us, brothers and sisters. They robbed us of everything. Not only did they rob us of our land, they robbed us of our wealth, our culture, our heritage, our language. They robbed us of everything. Okay? Verse 5. Because you have taken my silver and my gold and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. Now here's the point. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians. Who are the Grecians? That's another name for Idumea. The Greeks were white folks. Those were Edomites. They conquered the black Greeks, which were the seed of Javan, conquered them. Took their place in society, beginning with Alexander the Greek, took their lands, and took their identity. So let's read verse 6 again. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians, that you might remove them far from their border. So they sold us far from our borders. That's what they did. Many of us fled deep into the interiors of Africa, but many of us got caught and captured. Okay? Those Tyre and Zidon, those Nilotes, they rounded us up for the Greeks, for the white man. That's right. That's what they done did. That's what they done did. So now, let's go to Luke 21 and verse 24. Luke 21, verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword. This is what happened to our ancestors that remained in Jerusalem in 70 AD. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive, that means slavery, into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles. So who took over Jerusalem? Let's read what Christ said again. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Meaning, until the times of the Gentile rule be finished. Are the Gentiles still ruling? Oh, yes, they are. Now, they taught us that we're Gentiles, but we're waking up finding out that we're the Israelites. This is the Great Awakening, brothers and sisters. This is the Great Awakening. From there, let's go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel 36, verse 5. Here's the prophecy. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea. Remember, Idumea is the Greco-Roman word for Esau, Edom. These is Caucasian people, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart. Now the Bible names the nation that stole and parted the land of Israel. Remember in Joel 3, it said that the Palestinians was there. Now here in Ezekiel, it prophesies Idumea would be there too. Let's read verse 5 again. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds. What does it mean with despiteful minds? They stole the land despite the fact that they know it belongs to the true 12 tribes of Israel, to the true 12 tribes of Israel who they scattered and sold into slavery. Let's read that bottom part again. Which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds, to cast it out for a prey. What does that part mean, to cast it out for a prey? They cast the land of Israel out to be preyed upon by their fellow Edomites, their fellow Europeans, their fellow Caucasians. Come from Poland. Come take the land and be Jewish. Come from Uzbekistan. Come take part of this land as Jewish people. Come from Russia as Jewish people and come take a piece of this land. Come from Germany as Jewish people and come get a part of this land. That's what they did. Come from America, come from Britain, and come get a piece of this land. That's what they done did. Now, so the hatred is real. The hatred is real, brothers and sisters. Let's go to chapter previous, Ezekiel 35, verse 5. This is what the Lord says. We are going to read, what verse do I want? I want Ezekiel 35, verse 1 and 2. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. Who is Mount Seir? Who is Mount Seir that we're supposed to prophesy against? Well, come with me. Let's go to Genesis chapter 36. Bear with me. Genesis 36, and we are going to read verse 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites, in Mount Seir. So when we go back to Ezekiel 35 and verse 2, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. We are commanded to prophesy against the Edomites, Idumea. Let's jump down for time's sake to verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred. Now I want y'all to underline that, perpetual hatred. You know what the word perpetual means? Everlasting. Everlasting, everlasting. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. When our iniquity had an end, when we was released from the yokes of iron, these Idumeans, these Caucasoids, these Jewish, Caucasian, American Caucasian, British Caucasian, they didn't let up on us. They set up all kind of traps against us, murdered, beat us in the streets to this very day. Now let's jump over to verse 15 so y'all know that Mount Seir is talking about Esau, Edom, Idumea. Verse 15. As thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea. Who's Idumea? Esau, Edom, Caucasians, even all of it. And they shall know that I am the Lord. Wow. Oh, but here you go. But why don't we know we Israel no more? Because they beat the hell out of us. They enslaved us and destroyed us, made us forget our identity, our culture, our language. Psalms 83. I'm going to start at verse 3, just for time's sake. Talking about all the nations. Verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. What was the beginning of their crafty counsel? Slavery. That was the beginning of their crafty counsel. Slavery. Followed by what? Black codes. Followed by what? Jim Crow law. Followed by what? Agricultural laws. All the way up till today. Crafty counsel includes their science, their educational system, their religious system, their political system. All these systems were established to keep us in the dark, to never wake up and realize that we are the 12 tribes of Israel. Back to verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Why are we the hidden ones? Because the fact that we're the 12 tribes of Israel is hidden to us. It's hidden. We are the hidden ones. Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. This is why people like Whoopi Goldberg don't remember that they're the Israelites. People like Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, Shannon Sharp, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Charlemagne the God. Y'all so busy whipping and whipping and whipping. You don't realize who you are. You don't realize who you are. Verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. So all the nations have conspired against us with one consent. Now it's going to name the nations here in verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom is nation number 1. Who's Edom? Idumea. Caucasians. Jewish Caucasian. German Caucasian. American Caucasian. British Caucasian. German Caucasian. French Caucasian. Australian Caucasian. That's right. It's all of them. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites. Who are the Ishmaelites? The Arabs. The Arabs. Of Moab. Who's Moab? The Chinese. And the Hagarenes, the Egyptians. Gebal. Who's Gebal? Nilotes. And Ammon. Who's Ammon? Japanese. Amalek. That's the chief family of the Edomites. That's the so-called Jews in Israel. The Israelis. The Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Who's that? These are Nilotes. Assur, meaning Syria, is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Selah. The children of Lot is Moab and Ammon, Chinese and Japanese. So the Bible dictates, the Bible prophesies, all nations are against us. So you fools out there talking about, oh, some of the nations can be saved. You are insane. What is wrong with you? Who raised you? Okay. So now, I want to briefly talk about the sellouts among us. Briefly talk about the sellouts among us. Let's go over to John chapter 11, verse 47 and 48. This is about the scribes, the chief priests and Pharisees. John 11, 47. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, what do we? For this man, meaning Christ, doeth many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men, meaning all Israelite men, will believe on him. Here comes, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. So who gave the chief priests and the Pharisees their place? Rome. Rome. Let's bring it on up to today. Who gave Whoopi Goldberg that seat of authority to downgrade her people? The United States of America that follows Rome. Who gave Shaquille O'Neal that seat he got to browbeat his people? America, who doing the bidding of Rome. What about Charles Barkley? The same. America gave him that seat. Shannon Sharp, same. America gave him that seat. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the same. America gave him that seat. Charlemagne the God, that's right. America gave him that seat. Amar'E Stoudemire, I'm still perplexed with this brother, but his seat of authority was given to him also. And they used that authority to whip their people into to shape. Get right back under white man's authority. Do your due diligence. You better vet better. That's what they do. Let's get some more. I ain't done yet. Second Maccabees. Second Maccabees, chapter 4. And I want verse 15 and 16. Watch, this is about black people who are against their own people. Not, verse 15, not setting by the honors of their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Moses, Christ, Peter, James, John, Paul, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all. They like the glory of white man best of all. They like the glory of Idumea, Edom best of all. They like the glory of the Caucasians best of all. Verse 16, by reason whereof sore calamity came upon them, for they had them to be their enemies and avengers, whose custom they followed so earnestly, and unto whom they desired to be like in all things. That's what's going on today, brothers and sisters. That's what's going on today. Now let's go to 1 Maccabees chapter 11 and verse 21. Then certain ungodly persons who hated their own people. Let's read that again. Wow. Then certain ungodly persons who hated their own people went unto the king and told him that Jonathan besieged the tower. You always had sellouts and traitors like Judas Iscariot amongst our people. So it was in the past, so it is today. But the great awakening is here, brothers. The great awakening is here, sisters. Christ prophesied that thing. Let's go to John chapter 14. There's no denying on what's happening. John chapter 14, verse 26. This is what Christ said about the Holy Spirit. Verse 26. But the Comforter, which is the Holy Ghost, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things and bring all things to your remembrance whatsoever I have said unto you. What does that mean? That means when the Holy Spirit comes upon you, he will bring all things to your remembrance. Okay? Like what? Like what? Who you are as a people, who you are as a race, and that we must keep the commandments. See, these Christians in these churches talk about they got the Holy Ghost going. That's not the Holy Ghost. You ask these dumb black and Latino Christians, who are you in the Bible? I'm sorry, child of God. Be specific. Who are you? African American, that ain't in the Bible. Jamaican monk, that ain't in the Bible. Puerto Rican, that ain't in the Bible. Dominican, that ain't in the Bible. Mexican, that ain't in the Bible. Who are you? And what must we do to be saved? Kiss the cross, do the sign of Jesus, say 3 Hail Marys, pray to white Jesus. That ain't in the Bible. Christ said, if you jump up to verse 15, if you love me, keep my commandments. Oh no. Look at the next verse. And I will pray the Father, and he shall give you another comforter, that he may abide with you forever. See, the stipulation to getting the comforter, the Holy Ghost, is keeping God's commandments. You've never been taught that. You go to church as an adulterer, an abortion committer, a murderer, child molester, and then say, I got the Holy Ghost. No. If you love me, keep my commandments. Verse 26 again. But the Comforter, which is the Holy Ghost, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things. Teach you all things like what? Keeping the commandments, and bring all things to your remembrance. Like what? That we're the Israelites. We have a homeland. Okay? We're going to rule the earth under the black Messiah, whom the world calls Jesus the Christ. Whatsoever I have said unto you. Do you hear this, brothers and sisters? Do you hear this? Let's go to Revelation 11. We're talking about this great awakening, right? Revelation 11, verse 11. I'm just getting to key points. And after 3 days and a half, meaning 350 years, the Spirit of life from God entered into them. That's that Comforter, the Holy Ghost. And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Trials and tribulations, friendships and betrayal. The life of a prophet is not for the weak. Success and setbacks, too many to count. I've seen a lot come and I've seen a lot go. But there's one thing I've learned. No one man can do it alone.
Seasons changing, we go harder. Barely can sleep, I hit the streets, I got my guard up. I know we probably did some things that we not proud of. That's why the Father had to leave us at the bottom. But I ain't tripping cause he got us. We on a mission, time ticking on that timer. Taking the kingdom, ain't no secret, bro, we got it. I never back with our power. Rise and shine, early grind, recognize I'm certified. 12 tribes worldwide, don't act like you ain't heard about it. I'm a young kind of fly. And only my brother is strong in the Lord. His word, his word, his word, his
word. Woo! So as we waking up, the nations will fear. And they will be in utter anger and hatred against us. That's what you see with the ADL. That's what you see with the SPLC. That's what you see with the JDL. That's what you see, great fear. That fear transforms into hatred. They despise us, okay? From there, let's see the same precept in the Old Testament. Ezekiel chapter 37. Now, this was the parable of the dry bones, but I'm just getting to the part when the dry bones wake up and stand upon their feet, bone to his bone. Ezekiel 37, verse 10. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them. What's that breath? The Holy Ghost. And they lived and stood up upon their feet, an exceeding great army. What's that great army Ezekiel saw? Oh, I know in the spirit. He saw IUIC as one of them.
Said I'm not just a man, I am that I am. All part of the plan and it's all in my hands. I am that I am. I comprehend, y'all don't understand. I am that I am. Again and again. Been to the end, came back in a breeze. First of the breed, let it be, everything at God speed. God speed. God speed. Said I do everything at God speed. God speed. God speed. Said I move everything at God speed. God speed. God speed. Let it be. I predate Anyos. I said B and it was pronto. I'm the first verse heard in this cosmos. I reign, get a poncho, I'm upright, combo. The flavor, boy. The universe, my fave employee. It do what I say for me. I am that I am, yo soy. Get it lit like an incense.
Loving it. I'm loving it, y'all. Keep it up.
Hit a win sprint, my word is a win-win.
This is beautiful, man. It's beautiful. We need this, man, from state to state, in every ghetto, man.
Everything you ever forgot, I knew. I'm the all-seeing, all-knowing, all-being, all-time, all-leading author. That's also me, I'm awesome. Read it back slowly, I lost them. Undefeated war king, I'm flawless. Father of the offspring, who I've given all things, cause I can. Live and not die till I land, not just a man. I am that I am. All part of the plan and it's all in my hands. I am that I am. I comprehend, y'all don't understand. I am that I am. Again and again. Been to the end, came back in a breeze. First of the breed, let it be, everything at God speed. God speed. God speed. Said I do everything at God speed. God speed. Let it be.
That great exceeding army. Y'all can make fun of us if you want. It's okay, but we're doing the will of God. And we're fulfilling Bible prophecy as you sit in your house, your home, or your computer as a keyboard warrior.
You're not that great exceeding army. So you can make fun of us all you want. Y'all know how the song says, ain't no stopping us now. You ain't stopping this. Sure, we know the prophecy. The prophecy, when you read Revelation 2:9, 2:10, it says the synagogue of Satan, they going to cast us into prison. They going to afflict us, which is torture, and put certain of us to death. We know what's coming. We ain't scared. We know what's coming to pass. So, Psalm 50, that's for another lesson. Psalm 50 and verse 17. Watch what it says. Starts off talking about Esau. Seeing thou hatest instruction and casteth my words behind thee. Esau, Edom, who claims to be Jewish and Christian, they hate God's instructions and they don't follow the biblical text. They don't follow Torah. They don't follow Tanakh. They don't follow New Testament. Verse 18. Because they lie, they lie, they lie. Verse 18. When thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him. Oh, you want to steal some of the land in Australia? Come, kill those damn Aborigines. Oh, you want to steal some of the land in America? Come, kill those damn Indians. The tribe of Gad, Reuben, and Issachar, kill them. You want some land in Puerto Rico? Kill them. You want some of the land in Africa? Kill them. That's what they did. Verse 18 again. When thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him. The Belgian Conference, let's divide Africa up. When thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. Oh, you want to get some of that? They raped the women, blacks and Latinos. They raped our women. This is why some of the color changes there amongst us. I need y'all to recognize that. That's what they did. You can read about that in Brazil, the whitewashing of Brazil. Okay, just Google it. Look it up. Verse 19. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Like what? Anti-Semitism. You speaking against us. What does anti-Semitic mean? It means to be against the descendants of Shem. But what has white folks done? They have lied and said it means to speak against Jewish people. That's nowhere found in the word Semitic. You bunch of liars. Okay, thou givest thy mouth to evil, and a tongue frameth deceit. Here's some more lies and deceit. You're Gentiles and we're the Jewish people. We're Jewish and we're Christian, and you're Gentiles. You're nobodies. You're niggas and spicks and Indians. That's right. That's who you are. That's what it means. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth mischief. And I can go on and on with that verse. Verse 20. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. That's what I was just going over. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. Because when you read Genesis 25 down, Jacob and Esau were brothers. Esau just came out red and hairy. Now here, come watch this, watch this, watch this. 20 again. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, and thou slanderest thine own mother's son. Verse 21. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. So the God of heaven and earth, Elohim, he kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such a one as thyself. That's why you painted God white. That's why you painted Messiah white. That's why you painted the angels white. That's why you felt comfortable putting yourselves in the land. Y'all said amongst yourselves, we've done so much evil to the real 12 tribes of Israel. The Lord has done nothing. Surely the Lord is a white man. Surely he's an Edomite just like us. That's what y'all done said. That's what y'all done said. Let's read it again. Verse 21. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such a one as thyself. But I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. See, and that's what y'all seeing in this great awakening. You're seeing the Israelites being set in order. That's why there must be rank order structure. The Lord is moving us to set the nation in order. That's what's happening. And a lot of you brothers and sisters, you hate order, you hate structure. So you sit on the sidelines. Let the warriors go to the front. You be your keyboard warrior. And if they ever, I want you to listen good. Remember, China shut the internet down. Some of y'all have made foolish statements and said they could never shut the internet down. Let me remind you of something that happened back in around 2015. They deleted every Israelite channel on YouTube. I'm going to say it again. They deleted every
Israelite channel on YouTube. And you think they can't do it again? You think they won't do it again? See, y'all will be affected, many of you individualites, because you sit at home on the keyboard. You are afraid to go to the streets and face the people face to face and teach. You're afraid to do that because you know we got a hard-headed, rebellious people. But we're not afraid. That's why I say y'all busy making fun of the camps. The camps are on the front lines. I'm going to say it again. The camps are on the front lines. Sure, it's fine to study at home. It's fine to learn on the internet. But what do you do when they stop all Israelites from teaching on the internet? You're like chaff in the wind. You're a nobody now. You tried to set yourself up to be some great one and you became nobody. Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5 and verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. Is that you, brothers, in your house, comfortable in your home, typing your little eloquent soliloquies on the internet? Is that you? Are you the ones that stand before the face of such as have afflicted you? Is that you? If you're honest, you know it ain't you. No, that's not you. Let's read it again, verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. Where do we read that terrible fear from? Y'all remember Revelation chapter 11, verse 11? And shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for, because our salvation shall be done by the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, and his mighty angels who come in what the world calls UFOs. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. That's right. And here's a precept that goes with Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 1 about when it says, then shall a righteous man stand in great boldness in the face against such as have afflicted him. Isaiah 58 and 1. Watch this also. Cry aloud, spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet and show my people their transgression and the house of Jacob their sins. And you're the ones that say, you're not supposed to do that. You know, you're being mean-spirited. You're not supposed to talk like that to people. The Bible says, cry aloud, spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet. So now, should we listen to you, stay-at-home Israelites, you fearmongers, or should we obey the God of heaven and earth and hit the streets and meet our people face to face? Huh? Tell me, whom should we obey, God or you? I know whom we're going to obey. We're going to obey the God of heaven and earth. That's who we're going to obey. Let's go from there. Let's go to Revelation 11 again. Revelation 11 and 11. I'm going to read it again. And this is a great awakening. And after 3 days and a half, that's the 350 years. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God into them. That's the Holy Spirit that we read about earlier in John 14:26. And they stood up upon their feet. That's what we read in Ezekiel 37, verse 10. And great fear fell upon them which saw them. Here, watch this. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. That's what we read in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 2, about the strangeness of our salvation. It says the same thing in Matthew 24, around verse 28 to 30. Same thing. Now watch this. Verse 13. And the same hour, meaning the same time as we're being delivered, was there a great earthquake. And the 10th part of the city fell, the 10th part of Babylon, the United States of America, shall fall. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. And a remnant were affrighted. We're going to be scared, brothers and sisters, and gave glory to the God of heaven. Destruction is coming to the United States of America. Destruction is coming to the United States of America. Destruction is coming to the United States of America. Now, here's the precept. Zechariah 13, 8 and 9. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, this land is talking about Babylon, America, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. So 2 parts, 2 out of 3 of us, our people, shall be cut off and die. Why? Because our people rebellious as hell. But the 3rd shall be left therein. 1/3 is going to be saved here in Babylon. And I will bring the 3rd part through the fire. What fire? The same fire that we read about in Revelation 11, verse 12 and 13. That earthquake that caused destruction. Okay? Verse 9 again. And I will bring the 3rd part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my God. Wow. Woo, that's some heavy stuff. Now let's go to Zephaniah 2 and 1. I need all y'all to listen good, listen good, listen good. Zephaniah 2 and 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired. You see that part about O nation not desired? That's what we read in Psalms 83, verse 3 to 8, about all nations are confederate against us. They conspire against us with one consent, and it gave a list of nations. So wake up and stop being stupid out there. Oh, the nation's going to love us. No, they don't. I showed you the proof in Israel. They hate black people over there. You see the proof in America. They hate this great awakening over here. Zephaniah 2 and 1 again. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired. Before the decree bring forth. What decree? The decree of destruction. Before the day pass as the chaff. Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you. See, the fierce anger of the Lord is going to come upon us, brothers and sisters. You rebellious Israelites, listen good. Whoopi, Shaquille, Charles, Shannon, Kareem, Charlemagne, even you, Amar'E, and those that are like you. The fierce anger of the Lord is going to come upon our people. Okay? The fierce anger of the Lord come upon you before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. Verse 3. Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth. The meek of the earth is the Israelites, who are meek, humble to the word of God, the laws, which have wrought his judgment. That's the proof. Which have wrought his judgment, mean done his laws. Seek righteousness. That righteousness there goes to Christ when you read Romans 10. The righteousness of God is Christ. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger. Now watch this. For Gaza shall be forsaken. Where's Gaza? The land of Israel. And Ashkelon, a desolation. Where's Ashkelon? The land of Israel. They shall drive out Ashdod at the noonday. Ashdod's going to be destroyed at 12 noon over there in Israel. And Ekron is modern day Tel Mikni. Where's that? The land of Israel shall be rooted up. So America's going to be destroyed. Israel's going to be wiped off the face of the earth. And it's going to be rebuilt. Understand. It can't get no more clear for you, brothers and sisters. All I could do is share what the Lord has shared with me to share with you. And I pray the Holy Spirit comes upon you to wake you up. So, brothers and sisters, let's get to the reading of the shout out letters and donations.
The Israelites, according to the Bible. This Bible is only for the 12 tribes of Israel. Yes, right. The scattered Israelites throughout the 4 corners of the earth.
Right. I tell y'all, brothers and sisters, this right here is a matter of life and death.
And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thine hand before thine eyes.
That prophecy is fulfilled today.
Right.
All right? Who those 12 tribes really are. Not that imposter that
All right, let's get to the reading of the shout out letters. The first one reads, Shalom Bishop, please send a permanent captain to DC. Someone not from here would go a long way to develop the people, bringing souls from different backgrounds. All right, I'm definitely going to share this with the captains, see who is available to move. Let me put this letter over here. And there's no name on it, so I'm pretty sure it's someone from the DC school that sees that there's an issue and a need for stronger development. Definitely. All right, the next letter is from Brother Rob G. of Allendale, South Carolina. Shalom, Bishop Nathaniel and Israel family, men's of prophets. Bishop Nathaniel, I heard you was in the hospital. I hope and pray you are doing well. I said, not my bishop, the man, the prophet, the man of God of Israel, bishop in Proverbs 24:16, for a righteous man may fall 7 times and rise again, but the wicked shall fall by calamity. Bishop Nathaniel, I'm praying for a speedy recovery for you. I'm sending the men's prophets another donation. Thank you for your shout out Tuesday. Most high in Christ bless, shalom. No, I wasn't in a hospital. I was at the doctor's. I get regular checkups, and that's what I've been doing. But thank you so much for the constant prayers. All praises. I do need it. The next letter reads, Dear Bishop Nathaniel, I hope this short letter finds you and your family doing well. All praise to the Most High for opening a remnant of his people eyes to the truth. Keep up the good work by spreading the truth to the 4 corners of the world. Enclosed is a small donation to help get the word out. Hopefully it will be more next time. Gracefully, Linda W. Thank you, Sister Linda. All praises. All right, the next one reads, Shalom, Bishop. Shalom, Most High in Christ. Bless you. I pray that all is well with you and your family. Please accept this donation to use wherever it is needed. I pray the Most High will continue to allow you to remain in good health to continue to lead the nation by waking up the 12 tribes. All praises. I thank the Most High for calling you, and you answered. You rose up to the calling, one man with a microphone and the word of God, the Bible. You took that one talent given you and increased it by millions. All praises, you didn't hide it. Matthew 25:18. Thank you for being a humble servant of God. I pray for you daily. Without you being willing to serve, I wouldn't have heard this truth. Please pray for me to remain in the truth, keep the commandments of God, and follow Christ. To know this truth will make you free. John 8:32. Bishop, there's so much I could say, but I will end it by saying, I love you, Bishop. Let's continue to endure this fight. Shalom, Sister Nava of the Houston camp. All praises. Thank you, Sister Nava. Thank you. And remember, the scriptures do say God is not willing that any should perish, but that all of us should come to repentance. Okay? So let's stay strong, let's stay faithful. All right? And let's continue to pray one for another. The next letter reads, to the prophets of God, I am Barbara S. I had a job at Crest Park of Mariona Arc. I didn't take the shot, so I lost my job. Hey, you know, in New York, a lot of people have been suing for losing their jobs due to not taking the COVID vaccine, and they are winning the lawsuits. Not only are they getting all their back pay, but they're also getting additional pays to them. So, Barbara S., please look into that class action lawsuit. Your letter doesn't say where you're located, but definitely the judges can use the cases in New York City as a basis for the lawsuits continuing from city to city, state to state. Definitely look into it, all right? All praises. My health is bad now, but I need a part-time job and be able to take care of my living expenses. I also need to know where I can be able to go to classes close to me. I need you do pray my health to get better, yes. And I need you to know if you receive my donation. Yes, Barbara. Yes, may God bless you and keep you in his word. Amen. Yes, Barbara, I hope that you do hear this message to definitely use the lawsuits that New York has been winning as a basis for you, whatever city you're located in, to win the lawsuits, get back all your back pay. All right? Lord's willing, it works out on your behalf, to your benefit. The next letter reads, thank you, Bishop Nathaniel. I cannot express my gratitude for all the knowledge I've learned from IUIC. I pray for all you brothers daily. You put your life on the line for your people. I would like to attend IUIC Oakland. If I get an address, that would be great. Okay, regarding the address, go to our website, israelunite.org, and look up IUIC under California and call the extension. All right? Also, being up in age, I do not know where to send alms to IUIC Mississippi. If you could get these one arm to the brothers of Mississippi, I would appreciate it. Thank you again. I pray you stay well. I do not know what sickness you have, but I pray you get well. We need you in your spirit knowledge. Sincerely, Carolyn M. Thank you, Carolyn M. All praises. I'll definitely take a snapshot of the Mississippi thing, and I'll have Captain Gedaliah reach out to Deacon Joshua. All right? The next letter reads, hello, Bishop. I want to thank you and the great leadership in IUIC for doing the hard work of waking up your people all over the world. My donation, IUIC, keep up the good work. Teresa B. of the tribe of Judah. Thank you, Sister Teresa. All praises. All right. We want to give a shout out of thanks for the donations from Brother Rob G., from Linda W., all praises. Shout out of thanks to Leslie C.S. Shout out of thanks. Oh, wow. I can't read it. But thank you so much. Shout out of thanks to Charles L. Shout out of thanks to Jamel P. of Salt Lake City. Shout out of thanks to George S. of New York. Shout out of thanks to Karen B. Shout out of thanks to Nava I and Nava I again. All praises. Shout out of thanks to Barbara S. Shout out of thanks to the company Brooks. Shout out of thanks to Teresa B. Shout out of thanks to Andre C.S. of Alabama. Shout out of thanks to Brooks. Again, thank you. Shout out of thanks to Carolyn M. Shout out of thanks to Carolyn M. again. Brothers, sisters, I thank you all so, so much. You know how I love to say, let's all of us stay healthy, let's stay faithful, let's stay focused, but most of all, let's all of us stay in the spirit. Most High in Christ bless you all. Love you. Shalom.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.